Hello, everybody. Welcome to the home of cricket. I'm Shamim Ashraf Chowdhury, welcoming you to another edition. And this is going to be a very, very interesting and exciting one because I've got two very, very important people of cricket with me. First of all, it's my great pleasure to introduce to you all the legend from South Africa, Shaun Pollock himself. Shaun Pollock.
Sure, nice to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for being here. And of course, everyone knows him. It's the man who has represented Bangladesh in the middle and behind the mics. Athar Ali Khan, welcome.
Thank you, Shamir.
It's time for a little chat, a little bit of banter, nothing serious. We just go and take it as it comes. Pollock, first of all, starting with you, welcome to Bangladesh. And straight away, I'd like to hear your impressions about your experience so far. Haven't been here for a long time, busy in the comm box and doing other duties around the ground. So how's it been so far?
Yeah, it's been good. Hit the ground running. Got in there late before the first day of the test match. And ever since then, we've been working hard. But yeah, it's good to be back. I think 2014 was the last time I was here. We didn't come for the 2015 test series, which was rained out in those tests. But yeah, South Africans have got good memories. I wasn't part of the squad, but we managed to win our only RCC event in 1998 here in Bangladesh, and we've been on a couple of trips since, and always had a good time. I think I managed to play 2 test matches here over the years, and obviously a lot of one-day games. But we've always enjoyed it.
Great, and I hope you keep on enjoying it and enjoy our little chit chat. Arthur, South Africa, big team coming to Bangladesh, very crucial series for Bangladesh also. It's been a period of calm, if I can put it that way. Bit of an up and down roller coaster ride for Bangladesh in the last few test matches and now here.
Thank you, Shamim. It's first of all, it's an honor and a privilege to be able to rub shoulders with someone like Shaun Pollock. Absolutely brilliant. I've always been your fan, a big fan, and
you don't worry about the stuff.
I'm also looking at the people who will be watching this because they'll be in awe. I can tell you that. And coming back to the series, or coming back to South Africa versus Bangladesh, I think the hopes gets a little bit high when you do well in Test cricket, and especially in that series against Pakistan, a historic Test victory for Pakistan. And to do that, and then obviously expectations from the fan, they expect Bangladesh to do well every time they see them. They must realize the fact that they're up against a high quality opposition. I mean, South Africa is this wonderful, wonderful side. You look at the seam bowling attack, you look at the spin bowling attack, and what about the batting? So it's never going to be easy, and always been tested, especially in Test cricket. Hopefully it gets better. Disappointing to see the way they batted, especially the top order. But that's the name of the game. I mean, you can see Mehdi and Miraj, how he batted. If the top order can bat like Mehdi and Miraj, maybe we can give them a better fight in the second test.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other side of the coin, I mean, it has been a while since South Africa have won a test match in the subcontinent. So it might be a great fillip and, just winning this one and making them feel comfortable in this part of the world.
Yeah, I think more importantly for this team, South Africa, it's surprising that they hadn't won a test match since 2014. But if you look at the nature of this side, there's some relatively inexperienced people. I mean, Dazorzi would have never have been here, might never even have been to the subcontinent. You've got Tristan Stubbs who hasn't, you've got Bedingham who hasn't, Verena, I think this could be his first trip to the subcontinent. So there's a lot of guys who will use this as a blueprint going forward and give them a bit of confidence to know that they can play on turning conditions, hot conditions, and still produce. So it's exciting for us. We are in many ways rebuilding this test side, but they're going okay. They've got the experience, and I think it's a period in South African cricket where at home I think we need to prepare really flattish wickets to give the batters a chance to establish themselves on the world stage, because we've got the bowling. We've definitely got the bowling, the likes of your Rabadas. People that haven't even come. We've got Ngidi hasn't played. We've got Janssen. We've got Nokia. We've got, I'm trying to think of Nandre Berger. We've got Gerald Coetzee. We've got plenty of bowlers who can step up and do the job. But I think from a South African team perspective, it's actually a period where these guys and these batters need to show us what they're capable of.
Let's get away from the serious stuff for a moment. Let's go back in time to your father and your uncle,
Yeah.
Peter and Graham, must have been a huge influence on you when you're growing up.
Yeah, I always say, I mean, people say to me, who had the biggest influence in your career? It was my dad. And the reason why is he was the convener of selectors who picked me to play for South Africa.
Naughty, naughty.
Family business.
Family business.
Big
Yeah.
right, your choice, no?
Yeah, well,
Look at your career.
I had to back him up. I had to back him up as a selection. But
Yeah, backing him up for 421 test wickets.
yeah,
that's not bad.
It was okay. It was okay.
890, what? Altogether 890?
Something like
890. He's the leading wicket taker in all formats of the game for South Africa. Right at the top.
Moving on from that, let me tell you a story.
Right.
So I think growing up, what people, when you look in life and people who excel in different aspects of life, it's often that you get a good grounding. And that's what my dad gave me. I mean, without me being conscious about it, in the back garden when I'm 4 or 5 years old, when I start to play cricket a little bit, he said, listen, hold it like this, take it like that, and smack it like that. And it's just like 3 little simple basics. Okay, I'll do that. And when you bowl, get your arm as high as it can, close to your ear, bowl from the highest point, get this arm nice high, and off you go. And I had an older brother who was 6 years older than me, so I used to play in the back garden with him. And all his mates used to come out. So I had to lift my game. You know, either I could just be a fielder, or if I wanted to bat and bowl against those older guys,
perform well.
I had to perform.
Outsmart them, outplay.
When did you actually start taking it seriously?
You know, in South Africa, we're very fortunate at the school structure that everything's kind of laid on for you with regards to games being organized. We play everything. So we play soccer, rugby, tennis, hockey, athletics, swimming. We do it all. So that's also good at developing your different skills. And you grow up just playing everything on a continuous basis in all those years at school. And then only when you get to 15, 16, 17, do you suddenly start to realize, hey, I'm actually quite good at this discipline. I mean, cricket was a kind of obvious one. My uncle was playing when I was in about 10 or 12 or so. He was still playing for Transvaal, as they were called then. So I used to go to the ground and we used to have packed stuff because it was only domestic cricket. You know, we didn't have any international cricket. So it would be packed local provincial matches. And there's your uncle. And you think, gosh, okay, well, if that's my family member, why can't I get out there and
Reminds
play?
me of something. I saw your uncle playing in 1970. I don't know if you remember. There's the rest of the world team played against the England team. This happened because South Africa were going to England for a tour, which was cancelled because of political reasons.
Yes.
And then they decided that they're going to have a rest of the world team playing 5 test matches.
Yeah.
It was called official test match at that time, but then it became unofficial test match. But Peter, your dad, the one I went to see at the Oval was Graham Pollock, and he was playing with Rohan Kanhai, he was playing with Garfield Sobers in the same team. There were a couple of Pakistanis, Intikhab Alam and Mushtaq Muhammad, had Farooq Engineer in the team. It's a global team, and it's fabulous watching Graham Pollock hitting from one side, Gary Sobers hitting from the other side.
Yeah.
Back in the 70s.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a little bit about it. My dad tended to talk about his partnership he had with Gary Sobers rather than Graham's partnership. I think in one of the games he put on a big score with him, and
it was not the Oval Test, is one of the other ones. Yeah,
but funny enough, in England that time, he actually had an aeroplane crash in one of a small aeroplane, and I think Ted Dexter was flying the plane, and I think it was David Murray, the wicketkeeper.
Derek Murray was West Indian.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he was in the plane with him, and something happened, and they hit a power line, and they actually went down. They managed to crash landed. So that's what he always talks about on that tour more than anything else. He managed to survive.
Yeah,
but having those guys,
yeah.
I mean, it was huge. As I say, my dad, my uncle, it was massive for me, without me really understanding why.
Athar, coming to you, born in Narayanganj, which is not too far away from Dhaka, just for your information.
Thank you.
How did you start? Because that was not, I mean, Narayanganj didn't have a sort of cricketing sort of fraternity as when you were growing up.
Yeah, I mean, if you look now, there's so many people represented Bangladesh team from Narayanganj, but in those days, in younger days, obviously, Dad had a house, we had a garden in front of the house, and we are 5 brothers. My uncle used to live with us. So there was 6 of us, and he's the one who started playing cricket with us, right from like 4 or 5 years, just like yours when you are young.
Where did he learn to play?
Who?
Your uncle.
Uncle played cricket earlier on. Mom and dad from India. So they're Uttar Pradesh, but place called Rampur, but they moved in 1952.
Okay.
And when they moved here, Dad moved here in Narangan, settled there, and he got married, and then the family came over and stayed with him. So he had a bit of a cricket, and I would always see him watching cricket as well, because he used to travel to overseas, especially in Europe, England, and he would watch cricket. But for us to go and play cricket was a family thing, come back from the school, and you shared the bat and ball with your brothers, and obviously the uncle and father would not play, but he will watch us. So that's how I started. Yeah,
strictly.
watch. Mother was not interested anyway. So, but the funny part was when we started, because there was a garden and we played cricket. So there were youngsters around, friends around, family members, and dad's friends around, and its kids would come and also play cricket with us there, just for fun's sake, nothing serious. But
were all your brothers as tall as you, or you got picked because you're the tallest?
Not really. I mean, at that time, I was not the tallest anyway. So I shot up, I think, in school, class 7 or 8, when I used to bowl off spin and bat. But the moment I shot up for maybe 3 or 4 inches, people start telling me, "Hey, stop bowling spin. Start bowling seam," So that's how it changed. But yeah, it was wonderful in those time. Not a lot of opportunities, not a lot of grounds, as you rightly pointed out. But we had the luxury of having a garden in front of the house where we would go and spend time and play cricket. Not only just cricket, a little bit of football and a little bit this and that too.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is the major difference. South Africa being a very strong cricketing nation for many, many years. So you have the foundation of infrastructure all around the world, all of the country. It's a big country compared to Bangladesh. And all these different places that where you can go and hone your skills and get your training. That is something that Bangladesh still needs to, I think, create. So that is definitely an advantage. But just the competition at, I was asking you off air whether there's a competition in the schools or the university levels. Not quite there on a regular basis, was there?
The schools is really good. If you go on a Saturday, at any given school, you've probably got 2 teams from each age group playing a match of cricket, and whether it be the next term is rugby, the next term's soccer and hockey and athletics. So we are very lucky, and I think we did remarkably well in that isolation period, for 20 odd years, to be able to walk straight back in and make the first semi-final of the World Cup. A lot of it had to go down with that infrastructure and the setup that we have in the schools and varsities and clubs. It has begun to kind of peak off. It's become very much a young man's sport. In the old days, you'd have the 35, 36-year-olds still playing club cricket. They don't do that anymore,
Become more competitive and
no, I think it's just young. The young bucks are playing now, so that's what it's all about. But we'll continue to produce. I think that's the one thing. There's going to be a conveyor belt of batters, bowlers, fielders, whatever they may be. They'll continue to come through. It's just whether we can get them to play at the best standard, and I think that's the challenge. I think from the outside we sit and watch Bangladesh cricket, and I mean we get a little bit frustrated without even being involved. Is that we see talent, we see ability, but for us, after all these years, we're always kind of begging for more consistency from you guys.
Correct.
Because it's the same as sometimes, look at some of the Sri Lankan teams that they've got where these guys walk in, they go whack, whack, whack. And you think, gosh, this oak's a world beater. And then he gets himself out. And that's where, I don't know whether it would be down to the lack of infrastructure.
That's the disappointment, actually. You hit the nail on the head right there. The disappointment for us to see Bangladesh team doing well in patches.
Yes.
Because, if you talk about success, we spoke about Pakistan, beating Pakistan in Pakistan, created history. We recently also beaten New Zealand at home in a test match. Talking about test cricket. We've also gone on to win a test match in Mount Maunganui in New Zealand. Yeah. And it's not easy, the conditions. It's difficult. I'm not going to say impossible, but it's very difficult to go and win a test match in New Zealand. To do that and to achieve that, and then you do this, so that's where it hurts you. It not only hurts you or me or Shamim, it hurts everybody. The cricket fraternity gets hurt. The infrastructure is there, but what you said earlier on, to be able to give something on a platter to the batters to go and start scoring runs in domestic competition on flat pitches. And that is, I mean, exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth, because if you don't prepare the similar kind of pitches, which is batting friendly in domestic competition, where as a batter you would understand that you go in, you get yourself in, you get your eye in, get set, and get big scores, hundreds. Then you go in overseas conditions also, but you got to have something at the back. That yes, I've scored that many runs in first class cricket, and then I go ahead.
Yeah, I
It
agree.
will help.
You're 100% right with the victories that you guys have had as of late. I mean, even that under 19 World Cup victory that you guys come. I mean, the thing is that what we've begun to really recognize is that Bangladesh is not only a team that can win in spin-friendly conditions.
Correct.
They've got other options now.
Absolutely.
We've seen some fast bowlers. We saw Hassan was brilliant in this test match. You got Tuskin, who didn't play. That left armer, who's the
Shuriful
tall.
Islam?
Yeah, I mean, he's a wonderful find. Even that leg spinner who played at the World Cup.
Rishad has. Yeah.
So I think you've got more balance, and it would just be nice if you could put all those little pieces together with a contribution of the batters getting big scores. And that's where you can be even more consistent around the world. So that's what I wish for you.
Yeah, thank you. This is getting heavy. Let's lighten it up.
Okay, cool.
Let's talk about your food habits. I
My
know
food habits.
You are a stickler for physical fitness, and
I'm not.
You've been here and you've been very choosy with your food. I know that from the people who serve lunch.
He doesn't eat.
No, he does.
He doesn't eat at all.
Yeah,
He does. So,
exactly.
okay, I'll give you a few of my things. So I have, ever since I've had a bit of a heart issue after the jabs, I don't have any caffeine. So I have a decaf coffee, and at home I have it with coconut milk. So that's rare. So no dairy.
Did you find any decaf here?
Someone in the commentary box eventually, after 4 days of begging, he managed to bring me a
Yeah,
packet
just
of
to
decaf.
tell our viewers that Polly was asking for decaf, and Athar got.
He promised and promised, and then promised and promised.
Yeah,
and
he
then,
brought it in.
He came through. He came
had
through
it.
for me.
He had it in his bag, and Athar didn't know, and Polly went and picked it out of his bag.
No, because he asked me when we came across each other, because I was going down in the lift and he was coming up. I said, coffee. I said, oh, I forgot.
I knew you hadn't forgot, so I had to go and
Yeah,
find the
but
decaf.
you've got to try. You've got to try
I've
Bangladeshi food.
I've
I don't know how much
I've
you've
tried all the years.
You've got
over
a
the
chance
years,
soon.
especially in India when we've gone there. I mean, subcontinent food is obviously different strengths. Like
Curry. Do you like curry?
I don't mind curries. I'll have my chicken tikka. I'm a big fan of butter chicken and chicken korma. Chicken korma is actually my favorite because why? It's got a coconut flavor to it.
You should try something called kachi biryani.
Kachi biryani.
Yeah, it's mutton biryani. It's specially cooked.
You know biryani,
You gotta
right?
try
Yeah.
that.
It's
Well, the
brilliant.
biryani they talk about, Kolkata tells it, Hyderabad
Yeah,
says
yeah.
they've got the best.
Yeah, but this
You've
one in
gotta try this.
Bangladesh is
Better?
exceptional. It tops the lot. No
Okay.
question about it.
And
You
there's
got to
no
try it
bias.
before you go.
There's no bias to this.
No bias at all. What do you expect? Come on, Polly.
Even in functions and weddings and birthdays, big functions, you'll always have kachi biryani. Oh.
But you see, the conservative nature comes actually down to the playing days because, there was nothing worse than if you got the runs or you got a bit sick. So I was very conservative because I wanted to play and I didn't want to go down. So I would have like just a bit of rice with a bit of gravy or something, or bread rolls with maybe some sort of marmite or peanut butter or whatever, maybe just to make sure you didn't get sick. I think that's why. So that mindset has kind of always stuck with me. And like even at home, I'm not a big fish eater. I'll have a bit of grilled calamari or some king clip or hake or whatever it may
A
be.
bit of this and bit of that. That's what you do food-wise. But cricket-wise, I'll ask both of you the same question. Your first internationals, obviously, Athar played only ODI international because the test matches, by the time he gave up, Bangladesh didn't have the test status. But did you start off with test matches?
Yeah, I was test.
Do you remember?
5 tests. Yeah, I remember it like it was yesterday. You never forget that kind of stuff. 5 tests
Against who?
against England.
Where?
And the Barmy Army, it was in South Africa. The Barmy Army kept calling me Daddy's boy because Daddy had selected me for the team. And we drew the first 4 tests. Can you believe it? We drew the first 4. 2 of them were rain
When
interrupted.
was this? Which year?
95, 96. So this.
So it's
I think
5 years
November.
after you got back in.
4.5 years.
Yeah.
And then we ended up winning the last test, and I got some wickets to help us get over the line. And then my first one-day international was like 5 days later. And
Same series, right?
same England. And in fact, bowling-wise, I think my best bowling in List A was like 3 for something. And my best batting at that stage was only 20-odd not out. And then in that first game, I got 4 for South Africa, and I got 66 not out.
You remember
So
the figures.
I kind of,
That's for
well, it was your
sure.
debut, so I
Yeah.
kind of set myself on the way. And then the next thing was the World Cup a month later in India and Pakistan, and I was A for away.
And the bombing army stopped calling you daddy's boy.
No,
after
they
that.
didn't. They kept me daddy's boy the whole way through.
Yeah, mine was the Asia Cup 1988, and we were
I was still
prepared.
at school.
Huh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I start
When I
calling-
saw your dad play, you're nowhere
I
around.
wasn't born.
You're not born then, 1970.
73, I was born.
And we were actually preparing for it for a long time because Asia Cup was a big thing. I mean, still is a very big thing for us. So and we had actually prepared well and we were practicing and all that. I used to ride a motorbike, so I was trying to come out of the house and going for practice, and somehow I got into an sort of an accident. I
He says somehow. I think he
broke
may
my
have been to blame.
hang on.
You always blame the other party.
And
Broke your
somehow
collarbone?
I broke my collarbone, and I didn't realize it when I hit that. There was an auto rickshaw, and I hit that, and somehow I managed to swerve away, and it struck me here. The first thing I did was rotate my arm. I said, "Oh God, gone! Asia Cup done and dusted." But for some reason, Asia Cup got postponed. I still cannot believe it. 6 weeks, for a bone. So it happened after maybe 8 or 10 weeks. I played, so I was lucky. And I thank the Lord above. Still, that how can I? First of all, when I did that on my show, on my collarbone, I said, "Oh my God, I can't. What do I do? I mean, I'm going to miss out." I felt so sad. I was like frustrated. But then got postponed. We
It's very
played,
good.
and I played against Pakistan. I played against India. I played against Sri Lanka. We played a couple of games in Chittagong, and all those big names we were playing against. So I was lucky at that time. I felt very unlucky, but thank the Lord above that I was lucky enough to go and play that. So that those. I still remember that, and in one of the games, against Pakistan, if I may, I remember not a lot of runs. We were like we didn't score too many runs, batting number 4. And Abdul Qadir comes in, great bowler, couple of deliveries, block it out, and then I went down the wicket and hit him down straight down the ground for the maximum. And he comes close to me and claps, "Oh, you guys also hit sixes?" I said, "What?" So I went again down the wicket. Hang on a second, listen to this. Down the leg side, missed the ball, stumped. Thank you very much.
Goodbye.
So it's like it's the mind game which you can see now. But in those days, I didn't even
100%.
in my wildest imagination, I'm not even thinking that he's trying to set me up because we never played that kind of cricket there.
It's a coincidence that 1998 was my first stint in commentary.
Okay.
That's when I started off in the Asia Cup, and that's another story. We'll talk about it in a different time. Yeah. Also talking about another Asia Cup, Athar, if I might continue, is in Sri Lanka, playing in Colombo, where you scored your highest runs. I think it was 84. Were you given leg before?
No.
Was it?
It was, I think, 82, something
82,
like that.
Yeah.
It was not like before. It was Shaklan Mushtaq, and I went forward, and obviously it was a Dusra, and I was given out stump by the third umpire.
All right, let me cut in here. The third umpire happened to be from Bangladesh at that time, and I went and talked to him. I was in the commentary box next door. Went across and said, "How the hell did you give him out on that?" He says, "The match referee was sitting next to me. I had to give the right." I said, "The right decision." I said, "That wasn't the right decision."
It was a close, but that's the way. That's the way it goes. That's the way it whistle blows. So, but yeah, it was another good experience because now 19 one-day internationals in 10 years time. In this cycle, the football, this World Test Championship cycle, or this 3 years or 4 years, Bangladesh plays more than 150 matches. So you can see the different opportunity for not for me only, for the players who represented Bangladesh at that time did not get an opportunity to play matches. And you can also relate to this is when a person or when a batter or bowler or player is in form, he wants to play as many games as quickly as possible.
Keep the momentum going. And that's, I want to ask you, Polly, this test cycle that's come into fray in the recent past, 1 to 3 times, it gets every team to play X number of games, a minimum number of games. That is exceptional because, as Athar was saying, in the past we'd compare how many games have Bangladesh, test matches has Bangladesh played in the last 5 years? 7 or 8.
Mm.
How many have England or Australia played? 35 or 40.
Yeah.
So that
I
test
think
sort
also
of,
gives every series context. I think that's the thing too. So sometimes you'd have a series and you think, well, it's on the go, but what does it really mean? Now everyone's fighting for points and they want to be in the Test Championship. My dad used to tell me about the series. He used to get on the boat to go to England
Can you
back in the
imagine
day.
that?
And the thing was, he always says to me, he says, I wouldn't swap it for the world. He says, when we used to win a Test series, we'd celebrate that for 6 months. He says, now you win a Test series, 2 days later, you're playing someone else.
Yeah, exactly.
And they beat you, and then everyone forgets about
And
the
how
first
long would the
series.
boat take?
That was like 2 months.
2 months
Yeah,
on
and they would train on the
And
boat.
then you play practice matches, county matches,
They were like
5
for
test
3 or
matches.
4
You're
months.
away for 6 months. And your mom's wondering what's going on.
Yeah,
When is he going to return?
one or two letters, no phone calls.
Yeah, those days phone
Postcards.
calls was a luxury. I mean, no mobiles in those days, and you had to book your calls. You
Yeah.
had to be sure you got the calls through.
Exactly.
Yeah, but things have changed. Things have changed for the better.
Yeah.
But for us old fogies, I think maybe we want things to
Slow
cool
down a
down
bit.
and slow down a little bit. Bangladesh cricket, your impressions, you've been here, seen the matches. I know you give a sort of certain understanding of it, but to get to the essence of the matter, what you reckon has to be done immediately, particularly the longer version of the game?
I think people need to start taking a bit more responsibility, and it's a topic that people avoid these days. A lot of people don't like to be responsible, but I think that the guys in that team, you can get different coaches in, you can get different people come and try and influence from a personal perspective. I think you need your players to take responsibility, to say, hey, we're going to get together as a unit of 14 or 15 players, and we're going to be responsible to ourselves. And every time we go out there, we're going to play like we're playing for each other. And I think that's the key. As I say, I believe you've got talent. I believe you've got skills. I believe you've got personnel who can perform on all different surfaces around the world. But sometimes, I mean, even in this last test match, there was 2 examples. The 2 openers, one in the first innings, Shadman,
playing
the loose shot that he got out. Now, I'm not saying you're not going to make mistakes. You are going to make mistakes. Mominil played brilliantly. The next morning, he played that loose one. He got out. But what I'm saying is you need someone to be able to step into the dressing room afterwards at the close of play. And if it's me who's got out in that fashion, I go, sorry, boys, that wasn't. I let us down. I'm going to learn from it, and I'm going to come back stronger and do a better performance. I'm not going to drop you because that's happened. No. But the mindset is I need to apologize to these guys because I let them down. Because every test match that you play, there's certain chances where some person in the team can take the game by the scruff of the neck. And if you breed responsibility, eventually when it comes around to your chance, you go, I'm not going to miss this opportunity. I'm not going to miss out. This wicket's made for me. I've got myself in. I'm going to ground out a big
Just
score.
like Medis and Miraj.
Exactly. So someone needs to grab the game by the scruff of the neck. So I think that's a little bit from the outside. I don't know the internal situations with regards to the team, how it all works or whatever it is, but just from the outside, it looks like get a bit more ruthless with yourselves. Like man up and take responsibility.
Ruthless, that is the word. Athar knows the ins and outs of Bangladesh cricket. Just to reiterate the fact that we were bred on a diet of one-day cricket, no question about that. And that was the shortcoming. And that infrastructure for the longer version.
You have played Test cricket for long enough.
Yeah,
now.
20 odd years.
Exactly.
Yeah, long enough.
Years
It's
now. More
but
than 2
It's
decades.
the strengthening of the domestic circuit that we talk about all the time, and but that has still not happened. I just hope that the competitiveness and even the infrastructure given is there, and if you can talk about that.
I know. I think the infrastructure is there. I think players are getting opportunities to play on different kind of surfaces. If you look back 5-10 years back, Bangladesh would always depend on spinners. They don't do anymore. I'm not talking about this particular test match because they should have gone in for another seamer, Nahid Rana or Taskin Ahmed. But for the last 8 or 10 years, around that period, things have started to change. Things have started to change where you start to believe that, yes, you can produce seam bowlers. You need to have someone to tell you that. And how do you bring the best out of I mean, if you want to encourage a youngster to go and bowl fast, it has to be something in the wicket. I think that has started to happen. That's why you have players like Ibadat Hussain, and you talk about the young Nahid Rana who hits the ball hard, and he's got 150 plus in Pakistan. I saw him bowl. He bowled quick, and he's young and he's raw. So when you have these kind of pitches available in domestic competition, then you're encouraging youngsters to become fast bowler. And at the same time, you're also challenging the batters because you got to get your technique right, your temperament right, absorb the pressure, and that's how you build yourself to play against stronger opposition. Domestic competition always easy for us. Has always been easy for us because we know ins and out of the bowler, what he's trying to do. But once you go and play against a test playing nation and you don't have too much knowledge apart from the fact that you're watching on analysis and all that, but it's a different ball game when you go and face Rabada and comparing yourself to, oh, I've seen him, I know what he can do. But it's a different ball game when you go in. Absolutely different. I think you need to, as a player, what he touched on Bangladesh cricketers is, as a player, you need to be critical of yourself. You need to criticize yourself instead of criticizing others. What did you do with why did you play that shot? I mean, we can say that from the comment box. But as a player, you need to eventually say and be critical, right?
Yeah, one thing I 100%. But the only thing I want to just stress as well is you don't do it from a negative perspective.
Correct.
It's not to make yourself feel not worthy or anything like that. It's just to say, hey, I've made that mistake, but I've learned from it. I'm going to get better. And if you keep having that mindset, it will get better.
And I think it works for the player also. If you're you're saying that I've made the mistake, I'm sorry about it, but I'll give it a better effort. Instead of someone else saying that was rubbish, you played, you're out the next time.
Yeah.
I think when you say something like that, it gives the other the chance to give you a second chance. Yeah. And that is quite necessary. And the social aspect, Athar, the social aspect of mixing with overseas players. Now, the Bangladesh Premier League gives the players the opportunity. You're talking about the intricacies, the skill sets of the players, but also outside that, you need something else to talk to each other, to understand the thought process, to improve yourself as a person as well as a cricketer. And these kind of franchisee tournaments must be helping.
Yeah, for sure. I think your international experience, you get in the different ways of doing things. I mean, even the Under-19 World Cup, the fact that you guys went and won that was in South Africa, Potchefstroom, I think, I mean, to be able to strike things together as a team in that scenario to win that series, there must be something there, you know? So if you can do it there, then we just need to move it on and keep doing it at a slightly higher level. And those players have learned that experience. But there's no doubt you have to. And I think if someone said to me, you know, what was the success of your career? Well, I achieved whatever, I got every wickets, but I was never one who got carried away. When I got 5 wickets, I kind of thought, well, I should get 5 wickets. And when I didn't, I was then thinking, wow, what went wrong? What can I do better? Even when I got 5 wickets, I'd go to the hotel and think, well, doesn't matter. I'm won the next game. It's not about trying to enjoy that. It was felt like that was the job I was supposed to do. Even when you do well, you still think, oh, if only I hadn't bowled that bad delivery, and only if that guy hadn't dropped the catch, or if I had bowled a bit better on that one, or if I hadn't thrown it away. So you have to be, it doesn't have to be critical, but you have to be self-analytical about what you're doing and how you can do it better.
And the last thing you want is to be happy with mediocrity.
Yes.
Yeah, that is, I mean, I've got 50 odd runs and I've done it for the team and I'm okay for the next match. That sort of mindset, maybe, I don't want to give a negative aspect of it, but
I'll give you a quote Bob Wilmer said to me one time. He said, you'll never know how good a test player you are until you bat in after getting 100. And I thought, what is he on about? I said, like, if I get to the crease, I can feel. And the reason is why? Because first of all, you've got through the milestone of 50 and you've got to the milestone of 100. Now that the milestone's behind you, you're not batting for that. You're just batting because you're batting. And if your mindset goes in, but hold on, I'm in, I've got some runs, and now I must grind this out and make sure I put that opposition under pressure, and I'm not going to throw it away. Then you start to get the right mindset of how you're supposed to bat in Test cricket. It's not about just getting to 50. It's not about just getting to 100. It's about maximizing each opportunity you get.
Absolutely. Both of you guys are globetrotters through cricket, but Polly, I want to ask you, when you're not playing cricket, you're with the family, do you go out on holidays? What are your hobbies? And
we do. I love golf. That's my new sporting passion. So wherever I am,
you've got one sitting next to you who has the same passion.
He likes golf, yeah. So whenever I get that chance, and we've been fortunate around the world to go to some wonderful courses. We go on holiday, but I mean, to be honest, I've tried to spend as much time at home over the last 18 years to 20 years. And with my 2 girls, my oldest is now 21. She's third year varsity. And my youngest is actually writing matric. So that's final exams at school now as an 18-year-old. So I have tried to, yes, I do the job and I enjoy traveling around commentating, but I've tried to spend as much time at home because that family scenario comes and then soon it's gone. And then everyone's on their own busyness around the world doing what they have to
when
do.
the kids grow up and they
Yeah,
find their own homes.
you
and
can't
the
get that time back.
Yeah,
So,
you know, can
so
never
I've
get
enjoyed
it.
it. But
Others' daughter has just gone off abroad, I know.
yeah, he's been telling me
yeah.
studying
It's
overseas.
not just her. I mean, all three kids. I mean,
Yeah.
we are home alone, and that's the reason why, as Polly said, that whenever we get an opportunity, we like to spend with the family as much as possible. And it's important. You enjoy the company. You miss them obviously because they're not around you. And when you do get around, I mean, to family members, then the youngest one always calls the shot. But let's do that. Let's do this. I said, okay, do whatever you want, no problems. So you want them to be with you at the same time when you go out. Yeah, golf, my passion too. But with golf, I play a little bit of snooker as well. I like snooker. And
I'll have to set something up in Chittagong.
yeah,
Have a snooker match.
yeah, why not? And absolutely,
We'll do that.
Watch out for that. Yeah, Chattogram Club, Chittagong Club.
they have,
is the
they
ideal
have
place.
world's best tables.
Very good tables, I understand.
So
yeah.
not very good table. The number one tables in the world, and we are not number one anyway. So you go and play it out. But you're playing on a. It's like going to play cricket at Lord's.
Yes.
It's
At the home of cricket.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other home of
But I
cricket.
think too, what you have said about cricket is there's no way you could ever pay back to what cricket has given us. So from my perspective, I mean, from my whole family, the experience of traveling around the world. You say, like, where do you go on holiday? I feel like I've been so blessed to go to different parts of the world and experience them anyway, while you're still passionately playing the game you love. So we've been very fortunate, even in the commentary, you still get to have these experiences. Sometimes the family can come along with you and get to experience it as well. And it's actually exciting times now because my youngest will go off to varsity, and then the missus can come along with more trips.
Tell us about your daughter.
Yes,
Hockey.
good little-
Hockey?
Yeah, a good little hockey player. So she's played SA schools for 2 years,
Mm.
and she's now signed up.
Traveling, isn't she?
Yeah, she's going to a university in the States to play college hockey there.
And,
So we'll be going across to go and watch as much as we can.
where do you actually live full time?
Durban. I'm in Durban.
In
It's a-
Durban, the East Coast.
Yeah.
Near the Indian Ocean. So it's a little different from the rest of Joburg is different. Cape
nice
Town
and
is
humid,
different.
but like
Yeah.
Bangladesh,
Yeah, it is.
humid,
It is-
hot.
it is
Bangladesh.
hot,
Bangladesh, not
That's
Bangladesh.
right. I've been trying to get him to
Yeah,
say that
sorry,
since he arrived. Anyway,
My English is
Don't you worry
is
about
keep
it.
going down the bang instead of the bung. Okay, I'm gonna call it bung from now on. I promise.
talking about Bangladesh, you're here for another few days. Looking forward to some shopping, maybe, or maybe some.
Well, I've been given some names. As HD was telling me of that certain shop that he
HD
went
would
to.
know. He's been
yeah,
around
he's,
here
he's been
often
a few
enough.
times. We might see if we can get a golf round in. I think the South African team are organising, so I might try and
KGC is the
tag along.
Bangladesh are very, very famous for clothing. They
Yes,
export, one of the biggest exporters in the world, and this is where you pick up some good quality
deals,
stuff.
yeah.
So you go out and
so
do
I
some
might
shopping.
I might do a bit of that as well, and then we just head to Chittagong. When we get back, we've got India coming, and then our whole season starts. So it's busy. So I might also take just a few days just to relax at the hotel.
We are also very lucky because we're doing what we love the most. We started as players, represented the clubs, then domestic cricket and international cricket, but we're doing commentary. And I as you rightly pointed out, we are also very blessed to be a part of what we love the most. We are here because of cricket. We are here at home of cricket because we have been with cricket all our life. I mean, what else you need in your life? I mean, you as a human being, you strive for something that you want to do, that you love, and that's exactly what we're doing. Oh, thank the Lord above for that. Oh, absolutely.
I'm loving talking to you guys, but we've got to wrap it up soon. It's been absolutely marvelous picking your brains, Polly and Athar, and hope you've enjoyed this podcast. This has come from the home of cricket. Wish you both all the very best. Polly, in particular, I'd say that your presence in Bangladesh has really enriched everything here. I mean, the media going wild, everyone's chasing after you for interviews. Just talking to you as a person, I must say I'm gratified. I feel very friendly and you're very open when you're talking to everyone, no high and mighty kind of attitude. And that is absolutely wonderful. Thank you
Thank
very,
you for
very
your
much.
kind words. Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate
Well,
it.
it's
Yeah.
a pleasure. It's a pleasure. It's always been a pleasure. Love the way you are bold and battered, and I still enjoy the company and the Combox and here and anywhere else as well. Thanks.
Stop. Very kind of you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Polly. Thank you, Athar.
Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's it from the home of cricket. It has been absolutely marvelous talking to these two wonderful gentlemen, and I hope that you've enjoyed our chit chat. Look forward to seeing you all very soon. Thank you and goodbye.